Thank you, Anna. I want to welcome everyone to our panel discussion today as part of the Global Virtual Exchange Summit 2025, Empowering Future Leaders in an Interconnected World. This is a really exciting discussion and a really exciting conference, and largely because it's focusing again on the importance of COIL, of internationalization, and of course in this forum, the discussion on connecting business as an integral part of our work as faculty and educating our students. Um, of course, we're coming to you from around the world. I'm coming into you from Canada. It's 7:47 in the evening or 8 o'clock in the evening, and of course you're there in Hong Kong, and it's morning, and I think there might even be people from the afternoon here. So this is really exciting that the talk about a modern technology-based world, and we're all doing this together. Our session today is cross-cultural and industry engagement for the next generation, and I'm excited to have such a wonderful panel. I chaired a similar panel last year. It was a great discussion, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, and um, and of course the great discussion is going to follow. And there's a few housekeeping items I want to cover. The first thing is the discussions will be about 15 minutes long. I'll probably hold you pretty tight to that, folks. So we're faculty members. We tend to talk a lot, but we're going to have to work hard on that. It will be recorded and it's going to be posted on YouTube. So it'll be available to people around the world so they can see this great discussion that we're going to have today. There will be also a Q&A session at the end. So those of you who are coming in to listen, I'm looking forward to your questions. And of course, I always find I have really equally many questions because this is a great group of people. In fact, I read your bios. Sorry, I read your abstracts and thought I actually have questions before you start talking. So it's exciting to hear you guys your presentations. There'll be four different presentations. The first we'll start with is myself. I'm a professor at the University of Saskatchewan, Edwards School of Business, and Dr. Anthony Wong, who's my industry partner and will be joining me in my conversation from Genti Limited, Hong Kong. So a resident and a fellow person from Hong Kong. The second session will be a fellow Canadian, and they're going to talk about industry engagement to foster digital and cultural competencies in global North and South, bridging graduate business education and industry. Really exciting, guys. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Professor Marcela Proporato from Canada. Hi there, Canadian. Hello, Canadian. Dr. Gerado Heckman from the National University of Cordoba, Argentina. Wow, you're just on the same timeline, but a long ways away from me. Lucy Lamberti from Advertising Services in Spain. Great stuff. Welcome. Camelia Sanchez Germain from Forvis Mazars in Israel. Holy crap. We're really are around the world. And Samin Satar from Toronto Dominion Bank in Canada, another fellow Canadian. Hey, Canadians. Following that session, we're going to have a second or third session, fostering a global mindset in advertising education through industry educator collaboration and virtual exchanges. And that will be Ms. Anna Yuen and Ms. From the School of Continuing Education, Hong Kong Baptist University. You're, of course, the host of this great conference. And Ms. Chevy Ho, she's with Ogilvy, Hong Kong. And the final discussion will be the bridging culture in a flattened media landscape, insights from a Hong Kong, USA COIL collaboration. And that will be Mr. Joe Lowe from Hong Kong Baptist University as well. So a great panel, and I'm looking forward to a great discussion. With that, I think we can start, and myself and Anthony are up first. So I'm going to pull up my share screen and get us going here. Here we go. How's that working? It's going to make it a bit bigger for folks. So I'm very pleased to have worked with I've been working with COILs for a number of years, and this discussion is really going to focus on my most recent work. So for 5 years, I've been a COIL participant. I've got 32 collaborations in total, and really internationalization at home and abroad is an integral part of the courses that I teach. But my COILs have changed immensely in the last few years as I recognize the depth that COIL can bring, or the VEs can bring to the student's experience. And I've really moved more into industry engagement and bringing business as a fundamental part of the actual experience. So it's no longer do I create curated textbook kind of cases, but now we're going out and asking industry to get involved. And that's really what we're talking about today. Um, because I recognize that this is more than a pedagogy. It's really a place where we can give students workplace skills, workplace preparation. So that's been the unique shift in the coils that I've brought in. The other thing that is a side note here is that I'm really becoming more focused on SDGs. So I'm trying to get to industry engagement where they're actually being challenged to look at SDGs as part of that experience. The partnership that I have with Anthony started 2 years ago in Hong Kong. I'm going to often refer to Hong Kong Baptist University as HKBU because I use that term so much. But we started about 2 years ago to work with, I started to work with HKBU 2 years ago. And over those 2 years, we've really evolved into a discussion that involves the business sector. So again, it's a unique and interesting partnership, although we're not alone in this, but it's really become embedded in how we do our business together as we educate our students. And so uh, the, the, um, the idea being, of course, is we want to involve business leaders, which is why we've got Anthony here today. He's going to talk about his work as well with me in that partnership. So I'm also going to note that what we've got here, so there's two faculty members matched up between us and HKBU, between USask, University of Saskatchewan, Canada, and HKBU, or Hong Kong Baptist in Hong Kong. Anthony is one of them, but we also have a second partner here in Canada. So the students get a unique experience listening to a business person from Hong Kong, bringing their perspective on the subject matter, and then a Canadian business person bringing his perspective on that subject matter as well. So the students get to see the the dynamics and differences between two countries and two cultures as they work in the same elementary business area. And in this case, the project has been around human resource management. And so it's interesting even listening to the two gentlemen talk as they interact with the students, and I can see the differences. And I know the students are gaining that experience. And on top of the idea that they're talking to real professionals who are giving them advice in the project. At USask or in Saskatchewan or Canada, we've got Trevor Maber, who of course has worked in many different areas. He's an experienced HR professional, human resource professional, and he brings an interesting Canadian dynamic to that conversation. The what happens between us and our collaboration is basically in these new evolved ways, and the way that we're working at USask or I work with HKBU is to think about the idea that we need to bring in business as realities, business actualities as much as we can into it. So in some cases, the students are facing real life challenges that they've gone out and talked to a business person, or the business has actually come to us and done a presentation and said, here's what we need in terms of a case, or here's a case that we want solved, and the students work together to solve it, to give them that sense of differences across cultures to solve the same problem. So it could be an HR problem. How do you deal with your staff as they move into a new country? So you've got two different cultures talking about the same problem, and the students actually gain a real perspective or insight into the differences. The other way we do it is professional connections, and that's how Anthony and Dr. Maver do it, is we bring in the business people to talk about the experiences in the sector or in this real life experience. So they're solving an HR problem that is as practical as we can make it, and the students are challenged to sort of ask the questions to the professionals and try to offer up solutions. And those two have really come up. The other thing that I do and I've started to do is, and I probably will do this with HKB next term, is to actually have the students suggest what they want to do. So the students are not just passive participants in projects that we create, but they become the active designers of the project. So they decide what kind of problem do they want to solve, and then we try to match up a business element that that reflects that problem, and then they work with the business to actually solve the problem. So it gets them right at the front end of the deal. So they feel that sense of what we do as faculty, is the stresses we have is how do we create this project? Well, I want the students, I'm starting to put the students there at the beginning. And it's been interesting experiences. I talked to the students about this possibility. Like I said, next term I'm going to test this out. I'm going to let Anthony talk a bit here about why, his experience and his thoughts on this. So go ahead, Anthony. Oh, we can't hear you. I think your mute's on.
Hello,
Yep, good.
Cheryl.
Yep, I can hear
Brilliant.
you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. And thank you, everyone from everywhere in the world. So I think it's very important for students in order for them to get a taste of the real scenario. Okay. Um, when we say, okay, critical thinking, what is critical thinking? It's really to get to the root of the issues rather than it's like a textbook or on paper, something works, but in the real world, it may not work. And therefore, you really need to put students in a real situation, real scenario for them to solve real problems, work with real workers in order for them to think critically enough. Okay. And somehow, when you are working in the workplace, especially nowadays, is so interconnected. Basically, you may be working, for example, like in Hong Kong physically, but you are working with customers in Europe who your customers are 6 hours behind, and then working with another suppliers in Canada, which is 12 hours behind, and you will have to be highly flexible and adaptable in terms of the way you communicate, the way you work, the pace. You have to have a lot of cultural awareness and sensitivity, and also you need to work with them seamlessly because you are working with someone who is speaking a different language, having a different native language, as well as they may be, for example, like they have a different religion that they would have different practices, and for sure, when you're working in a team that is basically virtually everywhere, you will have to take the initiative and you can't be just a follower. Okay. And in order for us to develop students to become our future leaders, because the world will be theirs in 1-2 decades, right? And therefore, they cannot be following because they will have no one to follow later on. And therefore, now, when they are still studying, you give them a taste of how to be proactive enough in the real world, such that they understand what is leadership. Okay, leadership is not only for leaders. Leadership is for everyone. Okay, in order for people to be proactive enough to take lead, to take drive, and also to take initiative to innovate. And for sure, professional manners, etc., would be essential. That you can, okay, you can teach them, you can tell them, but if they're not in the real scenario, in the real world, working with real business professionals, they don't know what is professionalism. They don't understand what would be expected of them when they graduate from the university. For sure, as I said, basically you will be working with anyone, anywhere. Like this morning, right? We are here in the room, but actually we are talking to people from all around the world. And how do we be digitally savvy enough in order for us to work seamlessly, even if we are not touching, meeting each other face to face. Okay, so I think lastly is I mentioned culture, and culture when I think a few months ago when Cheryl and I we were discussing online, we talked a lot about culture, but I said it's not only national culture, it's also industry culture and company culture that would require students to be aware of, to be mindful of when they work. So I think that's my take on the to give real experience to students would help them a lot. Cheryl, over to you.
So, you already all are well aware of the advantages of COIL, or you wouldn't be here today. So I'm not going to spend the time on this slide. There's clear research shows that COILs and VEs work well. Um, but there's a value for the employer's involvement. Again, I'll let Anthony speak to this one.
Yeah. So when we prepared for this session, we've been saying, okay, so why employers or businesses would be interested to take part in this? Is it only for the students, for the university, for education? So I think yes, on one side, obviously the schools and the students will benefit a lot from this kind of collaborations. But in fact, I have been experiencing a lot of real cases where employers actually benefit a lot from this kind of collaborations. So on screen, you can see this photo was literally taken yesterday, okay, from a fashion show of a higher education institute in Hong Kong. And it was their fashion show for their graduate program or project. And we first collaborated with them when I was with another company, as the company actually needed to design a new uniform for thousands of workers. And instead of going through a lengthy process of identifying a professional designer, and that will require a lot of money, okay? Tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to identify the right designer, engage them, produce, a mock-up, etc. You can't even have this kind of like fashion show. And then we generated an idea to it. Why not engage a Treasury Institute in order for them to make our project their graduate project for their 30 over graduates in their final year project. And then that worked. And finally, the winner's design became that company's uniform. And for sure, okay, we still give them some resources for example, like to produce some samples, etc., to give them some award, some money as the award, final award. But it will be way less expensive and way more creative, okay? Because we are having 30 over students with 30 over supervisors and lecturers behind them to support them. And they produce really top class product, and the company benefit from it. So I think it's mutual. It's not only one way. It's not only employers supporting the university. It's actually mutual. Cheryl, over to you.
Good. The final slide I have here is just talking about the response from the students in terms of their feelings of these, new iterations of how COIL VEs work. And of course they tell us they enjoyed the experience. But what I found is they also felt that it increased their understanding of those intercultural challenges that happen when cultures come together and work on problems. So I've done lots of COILs, 32 of them, to know that students always experience that. But in this case, they often say, boy, we were solving a real problem. And I got to see how that culture reacted to that problem. Really interesting. They appreciated the real life business experiences. I'm sure your students tell you, I'm tired of looking at textbooks and fake cases. I want real hands-on stuff. And that's what this does. It gives them that directly, particularly when they get to work with business people and get that sense of challenge, that it's like they agreed, that business person answered my questions. I thought I had the right answer. They gave me a better insight. And did help them to be more critical thinkers. I'm always impressed when we challenge our students at a different level, they respond. And I think in the classroom, that's an imperative of ours. And this actually gives us a new tool to do that. So I was excited about that. And of course, learning what other business styles. We do business differently. Just no question about that. And you putting them into not just the students from another region, but from business people from another region, gave them that real approach, a real understanding. And they were excited by the experience. This was not the normal COIL. Not many of my students do two COILs, but occasionally I do get that. And their report of the comparison is from earlier years is really outstanding. So I'm impressed with the outcomes, and I'll continue to make the effort to put these projects together. The simple takeaway, I'm not going to go through the slide. I'm sensitive to time to give you guys more time than we're going to have. But simply it works. This is pushing COILs into a new plateau. new area, and it works. And I think Anthony's explained the importance of the interest and importance of that business intersection. The only thing I didn't talk about a lot today was the SDGs. And I will note this is when I do throw SDGs into the conversation, students are excited because they see that as a challenge for their future, and they want to start solving that problem now. So I think I'll end with that and say thank you. And maybe we'll move on to the next session. We will move on to the next session. That is, there's actually five people here speaking, but I believe that Professor Proporato and Dr. Heckman are the two main speakers. So I'm going to actually let you introduce your topic and your group, and take it away.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning and good night, everyone. My name is Gerado Heckman. I'm as the director of the MBA program at the National University of Córdoba in Argentina. I'm very glad to be here in this panel. And our presentation, as you see there, has to do with the industry engagement to foster digital and cultural competencies in the global North and South, and with a particular emphasis in what we call the cross-cultural, our approach will show especially co-creation between industry and university. And the core challenge, please, the second slide, please. A core challenge in our professional programs, our master programs, is how we effectively balance academic teaching of abstract ideas and models with practical application and adaptation within organizations. Our aim is to develop students' leadership in skills for senior management roles that are directly applicable to today's dynamic professional landscape. Go ahead. Our motivation today is to share our experience that stems directly from this fundamental challenge, the need to balance exposing students to robust theory with providing genuine practical application in business and accounting. Over time, we have explored a continuum of collaborative tools with industry professionals, drawing on the experience of professionals in senior management positions from various industries, including banking and finance, manufacturing, mining, and technology. But, well, today we have the opportunity to talk with my esteemed colleague, Marcela Proporato from York University in Canada. She, with our three other students, we will try to show you the pros and cons of each of these models, and in particular, to show you how does it work, the co-teaching virtual exchange model that is the center of our presentation. Go ahead, please, Marcela.
Okay, thank you, Gerardo. I will just fly through the three models because I think the important part is to hear the alumni that has gone through this process and how they have been impacted. So the first thing that we did, or how we all started, was with guest lectures, trying to have executives coming to the class and giving an idea, giving maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour conversation, then go to the coffee break. That's good, but we felt it was not enough. So we normally say, if you want to start somewhere, this is the first step. And you have to think if it's applicable to your course. In my case, I'm a professor in accounting, and accounting in Canada is pretty regulated, so we don't have a lot of room to innovate. So how or guest lectures do serve us pretty well. Then when we evolve the relation with executives, we can move to a live case. That is, we have an executive coming and giving a conversation like a guest lecture, and then dropping a challenge for the students and coming back a few weeks later to see what are the solutions that the students propose. That's also doable, particularly at the grad level. Undergrad level might present some issues, but if we're talking about junior or senior students, I mean students in third or fourth year of their bachelor's degree, these work pretty well. And then the innovation that we had is this idea of co-teaching. And the course that Camila, Lucia, and Samin had gone through through different years has 3 managers and a full-time prof at the back. And for instance, in the winter 2023, we had somebody from manufacturing, banking, and technology. The last edition that we, it says winter 2025, but we just did it, we just finished. We had somebody from mining. In Canada is a very important industry. We have manufacturing, Windows manufacturing instead of cookies manufacturing. And of course, we got somebody from technology again. And Elevate Farms is using artificial intelligence to grow leaves, greens. I mean, lettuce, spinach, all of that in contained environments, which is awesome for the northern part of Canada that do not see enough sun or warmth during the whole year. So when we get to this idea of co-teaching, the questions that we need to ask is not if it's applicable to our course. The question that we need to ask is, what is your network? And it is applicable to your career stage as a prof. Can you handle this? How does a course from winter 2023 look like? Well, the full-time prof opens and closes the sessions, the course. And then the prof has a floating session that when we're talking about senior executives, sometimes they become suddenly busy and they cannot deliver the course or the session when planned. So the full-time prof has to be flexible to move and cover that session. So you can see block 1, block 2, block 3. 3 profs, 3 executives, and the full-time prof opening, being behind everything and closing the sessions. And the floating class has been very helpful for us. What we found with this co-teaching? Well, we tell students that they had to take the sessions as a job interview. They're being interviewed by these managers. And we tell these managers that we invite, this is your pool of applicants. Who would you hire? And give us the grades based on your interactions, based on who you would hire. And at this point, if you have the network, if you have the contacts, if you have the time, and you can do it in your course, you have to think if it's applicable to your course or not. Good. So with that, the important part is we want to hear from our former students. And for the record, we didn't coach any of them. So whatever they're going to say, it's authentic. Neither Gerardo from the partner university in Argentina or I here from York University in Canada, we didn't coach them. So we're looking forward to hear your 3 experiences. And basically, they will be covering these 3 points with some his stories or anecdotes. So, girls, I think Camila, you were first. Go ahead, floor is all yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Camila, and my home university is the National University of Córdoba in Argentina. I have the opportunity to participate in the Performance Measurement System course at York University in 2023 through this virtual exchange initiative. One of the most valuable aspects of the course was how it truly fostered a digital professional work environment. We work directly, as Marcela said, with the industry leaders from companies like, in my case, it was with Google Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, commercial bakeries, and the entire experience was conducted virtually. It really felt like being part of a real consulting team. And personally, I overcame challenges like coordinating across time zones, navigating the language barrier, and adapting to a new academic and professional culture. But through that, I developed strong digital collaboration skills that I now use in my current work. What really surprised me was how engaged everyone was. All the students had their cameras on, and the level of participation made the classes feel really dynamic and connected. It created a sense of community that made learning not just effective, also enjoyable. And this experience really showed me what it's like to work in a global and digital environment. And it's something I'll carry with me through my career. Thank you.
I think I would go next. Can I be heard?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you very
Well,
much.
Okay. Are you there, Lucia? Go ahead.
I think Samin goes second.
Samir is now, yes, Samir is
Samir.
second.
I'll go second, yes. So, hello everyone, I'm Samin Sattar. I've graduated from York University's Master of Financial Accountability, in short, it's MFAC program in 2022. I started my career with Royal Bank of Canada's wholesale finance team in capital markets, and I currently work at Toronto Dominion Bank's platform and technology finance team, the top two companies by market cap in Canada. In the MFAC program, I had the privilege to be part of a collaborative course between York University and University of Cordoba. As part of the academic endeavors, we had to work in group projects. In our group, we had 2 Chinese, 2 Argentinian, and 1 Bangladeshi student, which is me. We were from different cultures, countries, and even time zones. But when I look back down the memory lane, it was one of the best collaborations I had in my academic journey. A couple of takeaways from the course that I leverage day in, day out in my professional career. The course mirrored how global companies operate with distributed teams and digital collaboration. Having a hybrid work model since COVID, like I go in 2 days in person a week now, even in office, it's like carrying over from academics into the professional world. It strengthened communication, adaptability, and emotional intelligence, like learning to interpret nonverbal cues across cultures, definitely being one of them, specifically in this digital space. And the third one I would mention is practice reaching consensus and negotiating across diverse viewpoints rooted in cultural differences. The current team I work in, we have 2 Indians, including my manager, 1 Chinese, 1 Nepalese, 1 African, and me. So it's just like, it's the macro situation of what actually I practice in my course. And this is something we do. It's a part and parcel of a regular career, regular work. I would like to thank Professor Marcela for teaching this collaborative course and bringing students together. It has been a really great experience. And just to go off script a bit, even the co-teaching where different managers and professionals come from different sectors. For example, I was part of the one where a person came from Royal Bank of Canada, a person came from commercial bakeries. It becomes a very good place to learn from these professionals as well as network with them, which gives us a huge leverage and mileage in our professional career going forward as well. So thank you very much for having me here. And this is something that I will keep on leveraging my career going forward.
I'm just going to remind you about the time. You've got about about 5 minutes left. So.
Okay, I think I'm the third student to talk. I'm having some problem with my internet connection, so sorry if something is go wrong. My name is Lucia Lamberti. I'm from Argentina. I studied business administration here in Argentina, and then I did my specialization in accounting and auditing in the National University of Córdoba and my MBA in Spain. And I did the course at the University of Fiore in 2023. For me, one of the most enriching aspects of this course was how it helped to bridge culture boundaries. Also, we were working virtually, remotely. One of the fundamental requirements was to actively participate in classes. So this not only forced us to get out of our comfort zone and not just be listeners of this course, but at the same time, it has a clear purpose to give during the classes and with the executive our visions, also our perspective about the topics we were working on. And obviously, these visions were influenced by our culture and our socio-economic context in which we were working. As my colleagues, students mentioned, we were working with people from China and from Canada. So all of us, we were working in different environments. At the same time, during the course, we had a lot of groups activities. So this, at the same time, the purpose of this is the groups, the teams were made up of people from different countries, not all of us from Argentina, not one group from China or from Canada. So at the same time, they force us to integrate our different business approach and perspective. At the beginning, it was a challenge. It was a challenge because we have different approaches and how to manage the communication, how to give a feedback. But after some weekly meetings and honest conversations, we take the value of our differences and we can handle it. And for me, it was an amazing experience. Right now, I'm working in an international environment because I'm working as a consultant for different companies. So
oh, you're on mute. We've got you're on mute.
Okay, perhaps she has technical problems there.
Yes, I don't know if you hear me. It's okay?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, this experience, I don't know where I was mute, but this experience gave me the tools and the confidence to have the possibility to work in an international environment. Right now, I'm working as a consultant for companies from Argentina and from different parts from different part of Europe. So I really want to say thank you to Marcela, to the University of Córdoba and the York University for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Marcela, and to our inspiring students for sharing your invaluable insights into the transformative power of our co-teaching model. Your experiences truly underscore the essence of what we aim to achieve. Well, in the sake of time, I just would say that the success stories, I think the success stories you have heard today are a testament of the power of this collaborative educational philosophy. So thank you once again for your attention, and we now welcome any questions you may have for us.
We'll
Thank you.
hold the, thanks for that. We're going to hold the questions to the end. And so thanks for that great presentation, for those testimonials. Next up, we have Ms. Yuen and Ms. Ho. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, and the floor is yours, ladies.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, good. It's excited to meeting you online, and also we're having some of our audience on site, so we're very excited. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Welcome to our section, and also thank you so much for also we have the opportunity to share about what we have done. I represent the Virtual Exchange Center from the School of Continuing Education, Hong Kong Baptist University. Together with me, we have also an industry expert joining me today, and she's Chevy, the Associate Creative Director from Okafi Hong Kong. So as we know, Okafi actually an international advertising agency. So we're very honored to have her because we have several collaborations in the past few years, and we wish to have her telling you what we have done then.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chevy from Okafi Hong Kong. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so next slide, please. So actually, we want to give a little bit background about our center, and also we also share why is it so important to have the industry engagement incorporating into the virtual exchange plan. So a little bit background about us. So actually, we developed in 2022 the support from the school, and especially from a funding support from the Hong Kong Education Bureau, the HKSAR. So we're thankful for that because of the quality enhancement support scheme. So that's why we can organize the summit today. And that's why we also have a lot of different initiatives. Then I want to share with you about the VE models that are employed by us currently. Actually, we have different models undergoing them. Like most of us, we're very familiarized with already that we have the COIL exchanges. So it's usually, everyone's load is at least having like 4 weeks of interactions, and that would be putting into weightings, and it would be having quite heavy interaction between the students to have something to be done on weightings. But then in our school, we actually have 2 more models for virtual exchange. That would be also having like pre-COIL exchange, which is not only about doing something on COIL, it could be something more flexible. And you can see from the highlights that it could be like 1 to 10 contact hours in quite short term. It is co-curricular, but at the same time, it is also flexibly incorporate into together with some knowledge that they learn from the, maybe from their course then. But at the same time, it's not necessary to put a weighting. The students won't have a lot of pressure to really need to put a lot of, efforts by doing something that extra on coursework then. And then we also have the extracurricular models undergoing. It could be having like 1 to 2 contact hours, but it could be just one-off. Then it could be having a lot of flexibilities in running among them. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have done quite a number of extracurricular activities, but I'm not going to go into details of each one. But I want to share that actually we have run with different countries, and there will be quite nice, receiving in terms of the results from the students telling that they quite enjoy from the 750 students that have been participating in this kind of like activities. Then we also have the pre-COIL and COIL. Please. Yeah. So, but then before that, I want to share you a little bit more, maybe the last slide, and thank you. Last slide, last 2 slides. Last 2 slides, please. Yeah. So there, the students actually quite enjoy it. You can see a little bit highlights that they do enjoy the experiences with interacting with other students from other universities. And also maybe they will be also feeling that that would be something enhancing their intercultural competencies as well. But we can see that results come to more prominent when we come to COIL and pre-COIL then. And just to highlight that, we have done a lot of pre-COIL as well. As we share about it's more flexible, we have over 1,000 students have been engaging already. And then that will be also COIL models, which is COIL will be a little bit more complicated. So we have just started in 2024. But now I want to also share that the students actually very interested in, undergoing in VE. This is what we have done in research now. Then the students actually receiving like better in terms of significant results in terms of continuous learning, self-awareness, exploration, interpersonal engagement, world orientation, the overall IES results we undergo in intercultural, effectiveness scale, then that would be quite significant. But then I want to share is, even though this is quite significant, but we do hear some more from the focus group that they share us like this. It is the highlights. They tell us that they want not only about course exchange, they want some more that could be engaged with foreign countries in terms of something really practical. They want to be having like the experiences about the real world. So as we heard about that, we know about that would be also something that really needed other than just coursework then. So we have also switched a little bit more focus by talking more that engage with industry people. And that's why we have Chevy and the coming event I'm going to share with you. So this was conducted like 2 years ago, but then this is also a very nice experience. At that time, we invite Chevy to share about a talk with the students from Malaysia together with our students on site. So at that experience, then we have the students understanding how celebrity endorsement actually is being applied in advertising and how it helped in branding them. So at that time, the students, after hear about her talk, I'm not sure if you can see, there are 2 questions. After Chevy sharing, we asked what cultural differences affect the choice of celebrity in advertising, in endorsing copy brands, and also the other question is what needs to be considered on celebrity endorsement under different countries. So we do ask them these 2 questions. And then may I also invite Chevy about sharing the experiences that she was with me at that time. So we engage the students after hearing her talk. Then we engage them into different breakout rooms, and they think about on these 2 questions. And Chevy also joined the whole sections and also engage the students' interactions. And may I invite you to share?
Yeah, I remember that time was quite amazing because it's so surprised that they think that the celebrity endorsement is quite an ice-breaking topic to them. They keep talking because about celebrity, have a lot to share, and different kind of insight and about how they feel about maybe international star or the local star, the difference. And they just keep talking which one they think is good and which one they think is bad. It's a really nice conversation between even big to small group. They just keep talking and keep sharing.
Yeah, but then there will be something we feel very excited to know is we later engage them into different interactions. We find that celebrity endorsement actually engage in different like culture specific, values, and as well as like also in some universal values. For example, when we engage them with the Malaysian students, like we find that the Hong Kong students told us they keen on having maybe celebrities to endorse the brands because they have their appearance. They look good, so they can sell everything. But then for the people like in Malaysia, they share us, appearance is not necessarily a very important factor in the consideration of a celebrity, but what is about the credibility really sells. And also, there's also something very interesting. It's about, when we ask, is there anyone from Asia or maybe from Hong Kong that that could be endorsing an international brand, or maybe to sell Malaysian products, for example, from Hong Kong then they share us a name. I'm going to tell it, but then we will share that. They were excited when they share about the person. But in Hong Kong, people are not very fond of having him to endorse something because we know that he has marital affairs. But they don't know. But later on, we share that, actually, we are not so happy because we see that also for celebrity, they need to be having good morals, so has to endorse products. So they later know that, is that person really having like marital affairs? If it is like so, then this is also forbidden in Malaysia as well. It's something that they don't want to see that. So eventually they share that, if it's really like that, I'm not seeing that would be something appropriate to endorse a copy brands. So it shares us something which is very iconic. We do have universal values seeking for when we having endorsing for different brands. So this is very interesting experience. And then please next slide. And then because of that, and coming to 2 years later, we also want to find Chevy again to come to meet our students on the next batch of students actually. Then, together with her, we are very excited also for her help to also line up Nick Phil, the regional executive creative director from Ogilvy Asia. He was staying in Singapore at that time. They also join us for the sharing to the students by telling us how campaign development would be how they would be different by doing in like Hong Kong and also in Singapore, or maybe what are the differences they're doing in Ogilvy by Ogilvy and to the Asian Pacific areas as well. So it is actually a very interesting talk. Maybe we show you some photos in the next slide. So actually, at that time also like here like hybrid then. So we have the students on site and we have Nick online and also Chevy on site, and they're sharing something about also the branding stories about having in Ogilvy at Hong Kong and also in the Singapore and Asia Pacific areas. Would you like to share a little bit?
Yeah. I mainly share about local advertising campaign, and we invite Nick to share that because he's done a lot of global campaign. We want to show students the difference between global campaign and the local campaign. Actually, it's quite different. So we have in this section, we can apple to apple, like really comparing to them clearly what's the difference about it. Maybe local is more about local insights, links, and very, very targeted to local. But maybe for the global one, it's more like the human through the big message, but also it's quite insightful. So it's a very nice section as well. And students keep talking and have some questions about it. Like we ask a lot of things, and it's quite well received. And so Nick,
yeah. And also at the same time that it's not only about our students attending, we also have online participants. We also have students from Austria, from England, and also from the Philippines, as well as from Malaysia joining us. And this is actually they joining as like extracurricular activities from from the places then because this is quite well receiving. So we have talked to them and they're very nice. We actually have organized an advertising competition basing on a campaign that they propose. So may I invite you to share about the brief?
It's a little small exercise we say about it. And, we give them a topic, maybe promoting Coke Studios. To think of some advertising ideas about Coke Studio. Coke Studio actually is a music platform held by Coca-Cola. You can find it on Spotify or in their website. Yeah, and this is just the next slide will be the brief. We are welcome of any kind of execution, and we have a very let the student free flow to think of ideas, and then we have at the end we have the presentation as well.
Yeah, the next slide. So actually, because of that, we have organized a competition.
Yeah.
Will be like I would say not yet come to worldwide, but quite international. We will come to a competition. Next slide, please. Then this is about the competition. Then we name it "Unlock Your Creativity with Ogilvy," and it was held earlier this year on April 1st. And in this competition, that Chevy, also Nick, actually the judges of the campaign. And eventually, we have shortlisted 5 different teams, 3 from Hong Kong, and 1 from the Philippines, and 1 from Austria. They need to present, in real time, then to share the ideas. Next slide, please. There's some photos snapped of the day, and the students actually need to present and also to compete with another, because they're very nicely at the end. If the winning team actually won in this competition, will be receiving internships at Ogilvy. Yeah. So may I also invite you to share about the students' performance, and also why do you select the winners?
Actually, that time it's a very fun situation. Students' idea are quite crazy. They think of Donald Trump, they think of Stranger Things, they think of UFO, dancing on the street, singing, and you can see very creative, and they are really having fun doing the whole process. And at the end, we choose the one that having the best balance between
the next slide will show that. Yeah, the next slide will show that. There are some highlights.
Yeah, the winner teams is having the best balance between the Coca-Cola and also the Coke Studio and the music. So because at the end it's an advertising, so we have to we love creativity, and but also have to sell something if we have the product. So this one is quite nice for at the end of the process.
Yeah, thank you. And then this is what we have then. So we are very happy then having Chevy and also Nick to join us at that time. And also we also have, actually read in the recent journals, and there are a lot of also maybe a trend doing that. That's why we have this section today. And as well as we can also hear a lot, maybe in Hong Kong, there are lots of actually practitioners asking, is this really a gap in between the academics and also with the industry then? So we would like to see that if we can be trying our best to trying to do more things to connect more with the industry, so we can minimize those gaps and get the students more ready when they come to the real world of the industry then. So this is about our sharing today. Thank you so much.
Excellent presentation. Thanks for that. The final presentation we have is from Mr. Low from Hong Kong Baptist University. So we'll get him up here in a second, and I think we're just a bit over. We were started late, so we're still good. I'm looking forward to thinking of questions. I have many. I've written down many here. This is amazing stuff. As well as I'm hoping that the audience is also thinking of questions. And if you want to pop them into the chat, that'd be fantastic. And we can get the speakers can also see the chat, I think. I'm not sure about that, but it doesn't matter. We'll be able to read them out to you. So I mean, I have to say I'm quite impressed with the work that all of the panelists have presented and are doing. Like I said, I've got a list of questions here, so I'm quite excited to hear the answers to the questions when we come to the session. Oh, are we just about ready for? Here we go. No, I think you got the wrong slide deck there. Oh, the technical issues.
Hi, my test. Can you hear me?
Can you, we can hear you, but could you just speak a little bit louder? And I don't think we've got the right PowerPoint.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit. I think we're okay. A little bit louder if you can. I don't know if you've got a mic on.
I'm trying a different method. See if that gets better.
And I don't know how we got the right. Let's. It says Joe Lowe, so it's just not the same as your presentation title, so that's okay. I'm always up for interesting shift.
Hi, hi, 1, 2, 3. Is it any better
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, that's good.
Great.
We can see you though.
Okay, we good? Yes. Okay, so good morning and good evening, everyone, fellow teachers, industry partner, and student around the world. It's really an honor to be here talking about my topic, the network world, how pop culture and transmedia forge tomorrow cross-culture architecture. And my name is Joe Lowe. I'm a lecturer of the program Creative Writing in Film, TV, and New Media. So hello, everyone. How do I get the next slide? Okay, space. Okay, wow. All right, thank you. Okay. When I was young, 2 weeks ago, I mean 2 decades ago, connecting deeply with someone across the ocean meant expensive flights, unreliable mail, or awkward time zone calls. And what happened today is a K-pop band in Seoul share a dance cover in TikTok, a meme about Monday Blue go virtue in Mumbai and Mexico City within an hour. A game streamer in Berlin collaborate with a cosplay in Tokyo. Well, the global media landscape isn't just connected, it's flattened. Hierarchies of information had collapsed, and gatekeepers disrupted. What is witnessing is the rise of a vibrant global community stitched together not by geography or institution, but by hashtag, algorithm, and shared passion, especially among the young people who live and breathe and create their own screen. Allow me to share um, 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 a night globe over the satellite offered by Anne Marie Slaughter, an author of her book A New World Order. She urged us to look at the night globe over the satellite, and what we see is a web of a light where border vanished. Humanity shines on one interconnection as one organism. And this is not just a map, this is a blueprint of our era. The flattening of a media landscape by social network isn't just about technology. It's about human connection on an unprecedented scale. Our COIL project show us that when given the tools as simple as Instagram or YouTube, young people can effortlessly weave themselves into global inventory using pop culture as their shared thread. They can embrace hybrid identities and they are the creators and consumer at the same time, understanding through shared laughter at memes. So allow me today to draw from a real world experience, a core project that I collect between students in Hong Kong and the United States to explore how the digital flattening isn't just changing how we communicate, but who we become together. We will see how pop culture act as a universal language, how platform empowers hybrid identities, and why this matter profoundly for industry aiming to engage with the next global generation. Let me take you inside our core project. So picture this: 40 students, half from bustling Hong Kong and half across the US Stanford from the Rocky Mountain, connecting solely through digital platform. No get to know you protocol and no formal cultural briefing at all. Just shared tasks and discussion board and an open channel of Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. And what is their mission? Here is what the assignment I gave them: to reinvent a classic tale or a hidden gem like a lesser known animation or story to become a transmedia universe, spread its DNA across the books, films, social media, games, and more. Build a world so rich that audience can dive deeper with every platform. Then make a prototype out of it, an animation snippet or an IG series or a poster, make it tangible. That's the assignment I gave them. And as a result, a network in miniature, students didn't just collaborate, they actually become the knob in a creative lab. Platform like Discord and Google Doc were the ties. And here is the magic. Um, so here's this case study one. This is maybe to some of you not too unfamiliar. It's from Inside Out. Okay, so we have so student adapted the story from the Inside Out Inside Out 2. So we have our main character Riley in the middle, the girl. Okay, and they actually so this is the prototype of their imagined poster for Inside Out 3. So as Riley grows older, she falls in love with a boy, and a new emotional character was introduced called jealousy and obsession. And actually, I am not pleased because the exact same thing was told by my 8 years old daughter a couple months ago. So I told them I'm not impressed. And next thing, they came up something really nice. It's an Inside Out spin-off series. They actually together, the US team and the Hong Kong team actually came up a great idea to make a legendary mind figures from out of historical figures. And to my surprise, actually, the US team actually came up with the Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, and introduced his ambitions in emotion character clashing with doubts during the Great Wall construction. And to my surprise as well, my Hong Kong student actually came up with the idea with Abraham Lincoln's of a new character called Anxiety, debating his courage before the Gettysburg Address. So I was happy to see some of the culture clash over there. And then the next case study is called the Daddy Dan, which is not something I'm familiar with. I just learned about this animation from my student. And one Hong Kong group chose the Daddy Dan, a quirky Japanese anime about the ghost alien chase. To my, I assume it would be unknown to most Americans. Skeptical, I awaited confusion, but none of them came. US student actually grabs the absurdist humor instantly. And why? Well, I think it's because the network trained us to decode cultural simple so fluidly. And little did I know that it was actually on the Netflix, and it actually accumulated 2 million views already. But I realized that the real icebreaker we had was actually the cultural clash itself. When I look at their Discord conversation, they immediately exchange their love for the Japanese animation. They talk about how their favorite character goes in the shower, or Totoro. They immediately spark the conversation much better than we had when we had on our icebreaker on a pet lab. And here is the animation that they create. They actually reimagine what happened if the character gets old, and they make a little animation out of it. And this is a pretty nice animation banner that adopt from the original Daddy Dan's font type, and make it more Japanese as well. So that's their prototype. And lastly, my last case study, it's called a Lady Purple. Lady Purple, perhaps it's the most profound example that came from an obscure Chinese short story. Um, a few in Hong Kong knew about it. I didn't read the story, and I would bet zero American had heard of it. Well, what about the tale is a centuries old puppet was sold in the night market who actually awoken with a human emotion, and and she had a newfound consciousness, and she realized she is trapped within an object. Well, when a Hong Kong a team shared this short story, something quite extraordinary happened. Before I could even provide a further context to the US student, the US student actually, they said, oh, just give us the original short story in Chinese. And then so we shared the Chinese story to them. And what they did is they just copy and paste and translate it. And then they read it through the Google translation. And then immediately the US student said, this is just like the Matrix meet Pinocchio. And she is like a Neo realizing he's a slave in a simulated world, but for the puppets. So immediately they came up with the transmedia story idea that how about the woke up consciousness puppet versus mankind? And here is a little animation that they make. Spooky. All right. So it's actually their animation 101, so I can't ask for more. Um, and the pop culture, it's what I realized is the pop culture is the real instant icebreaker. So within the hours, students weren't discussing the time zone anymore. They were starting sharing their Spotify playlist. What is their favorite movie and cartoons? Pop culture wasn't just entertainment. What I realized, it was the lowest barrier passport to the connection. It required no visa or translation app for the feeling it conveyed. So this isn't the future. It is the very vibrant creative present for industry to look at how to engage with the next generation. I think the message is very clear that we do not control the narrative, but instead we should enable the participatory culture, that we embrace the flat world to foster the hyper spirit and watch as this connected generation welcome a future far more collaborative and understanding than we ever imagined. So thank you. I look forward to our discussion.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for that great presentation, and really just changed the whole conversation immensely, immensely interesting as how you've approached the work with different cultures. So if we could just drop off the screen share, I just have a quick question for whoever's making decisions there. How much time do we have for questions? I know we're late right now. Anna or maybe Ethan, or can someone just give me a sense of the time we've got available?
How about we go for like 5 minutes then?
Sounds good. Sounds good. 5 minutes. Is there any questions from the floor to our guests? I don't see any in chat in the chat section. Is there any from the floor? Hand, you can use your hand as well. I'm happy to take questions. I know I do have a question. So I'm, as I said, these are amazing, amazing presentations. I actually have a question for everybody, but I suspect we'll only get maybe through one or two. Maybe Marcela and Gerardo. I'm quite curious. You do co-teaching, and I'm wondering how you're dealing with making sure that the theoretical side of our courses is covered, which can be mundane and somewhat even outside the realm of a business person, versus the idea that they can fulfill a great deal of information for students, and that's a good value, but it doesn't give us those sort of check boxes in terms of can they do basic formulas, do they understand basic principles of theory? How are you dealing with that?
I can take that one. When we work with executives, we ask them for the 3 hours that you interact with the students, you need to deliver one tool, useful tool. So one session might be about Canvas. Another section might be about the Boston Consulting Group matrix or price waterfall, any tool that is applicable and you can take to the consulting world. Our course is a grad course within a master's degree, and we take students that are the best from both programs here at York and from Cordova. We curate who gets into the program, and we ask executives, this is the minimum script that you need to cover, and behind the scenes, the students read a book, and every session they have to upload a summary of the chapter assigned for the day.
Right. Do you think it's applicable to undergraduate level students? I mean, graduate students come to the table with a bit more depth and even understanding, critical thinking skills.
It would be a little bit challenging here at York University because the accounting program is prescribed by CPA Ontario. But
Yeah.
I don't know, Gerardo, your views from Argentina.
Yes, I would say that as you see, this is a plus. So I think in the undergraduate level, perhaps it's not too easy to keep people inside the real world because they are acquiring the tools in that moment, and perhaps they are not so aware of these other aspects. But well, in the graduate level, it's a very good opportunity. I think it's not just a simple plus. And it's not a quote of reality. It's a quote of reality with culture, with a real performers, all that stuff.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. I really like your approach. I'm thinking my head is going in how I can use it in my class. I'm going to switch. I have more questions for you, of course, but I've got 1 minute left, according to Anna. I'm going to ask Joe. I really am excited by your use of creative media in the classroom. I've tried it, and it's been an absolute failure because of the cultural differences and understanding of the technology, availability of technology. How did you overcome that? I got students who don't even know how to use video cameras on their phones, and so you have really just elevated this to a new level.
Thank you for your question. Sorry, I haven't stayed clear enough. It was actually a collaboration between a writing class, a writing for a script class, and an animation and a video production class. And therefore, for Hong Kong student, they are the script writer, and for the US student, they are actually the production designer. But of course, we blend in together both the work, and we actually work together throughout the whole process.
So do you have a sort of benchmark of when you're looking for a partner, they have to have a certain level of technical skills or creative skills or video, just even though the skills necessary to do videos?
I wish I could, but no. I think we sort of improvise when we meet up our partner. We identify what kind of class do they have, and we reach each other's syllabus, and we design how is our deliverable would work for both partners.
Wonder if you could do that with business students. Interesting.
That would be
I'm
very interesting.
Yeah, because we're not creative over here in the business world. We're those accountants have like no creativity as far.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I make like my partner's an accountant, so but I'll ask one last question if you don't mind, Anna, and that's to you guys. I mean, a very similar challenge. You know, you're using this as, I mean, I understand you teach a communications class, so you've already sort of got the skill sets, but how are you making sure that you know, the students are sort of up there and able to deliver the quality? This is Ogilvy is a pretty, you know, sort of an international based firm, high quality. And so you're putting your students into a very challenging situation. Do you do some prep work in advance? Are you screening your students? How are you making sure that you're not getting like a lower quality?
So actually, it will be like step-to-step guidance process. Somehow, when we especially it's coming to like a competition at the end, then that will be some guidance needed. So once we know that there will be a collaboration, for example, with industry people, then that will also be something good. We the very looking forward is they really get on with the industry insights that can be putting into not only school projects but putting into reality. So this is something that we are very fond of, actually getting into that place. But at the same time, we also worry that, as you said, that the quality really matters. It's like, but then I know, there's somehow the students are very smart. They know what is schoolwork, honestly. They know what is really is, talking to the industry. And while it's coming to real industry, outputs, they really will put in much more efforts, honestly, rather than in schoolwork. And then they will be also be more, engaging in terms of, especially like the last time that we are having like real experiences. If they really win in the competition, then they will be having real experiences in working and see what's going on in real industry. They also very embrace about that. So the actually I will have a last update is about the students winning in the competition. They are now in internship at Ogilvy, so that's why they cannot join in now. So they are having 4 students present in a team, but 4 of them also get enrolled in the internship. And so that would be something we're hoping to see. And with all these, and also even though this is like step-by-step guidance and somehow like that, we're proud that they grow a lot, especially when we engage industry people. Then that will be really matters. And also we will be hoping having more, for example, having more different industry people to give them different insights throughout the way, that if we aim for doing something particularly which is really related to the industry.
Excellent. Interesting. That's really interesting. I'm now taking you guys over the time, and I appreciate your attention. And I thank you for these excellent presentations. I myself, I'm going to make this suggestion because I think I'll follow up. Is if possible, Anna, maybe we could share the emails for the presenters with each other, and maybe any of the audience who's interested in pursuing this. This is like
Sure. We're welcome. We're very welcome for that. And also we have the matching palette. We also welcome for one, to have everyone share about their COIL interests. Then we can, look for we can, reach forward for further collaborations through the summit.
and you've just put up the feedback form. Please take time to fill this out. And as well, there's another a session or two after this one today.
Yeah.
So I want to, oh, you're going to say something? Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you. So we would like to invite everyone to join us at 2 again, because we have the keynote speech, which is delivered by Professor COIL from the Vice Director of the IIGE Network from Kansas University. She's very active in virtual exchange. I know it's very late to you at that time, Cheryl, but I'm not sure if you're interested to join us at during the
I'd
time.
love to, but
she's really very, I would say that she's a very renowned scholar actually in Asia, talking about internationalization, or maybe, and also virtual exchange then. Yeah. So we would be greatly appreciate to see you. She would be sharing a topic related to the latest development about how VE related to technology.
thank you. It will be, I think, close to 11 or midnight here, so I'll be watching the YouTube version of that tomorrow. So But I appreciate, and it will be good. This conference last year was fantastic. The ones I've seen so far have been fantastic. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, morning, afternoon, and evening, and fill in the feedback form. And thank you to every one of the speakers and the students who joined us. We really appreciated your sharing this great information. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Have a nice conference. Ciao.